Hey, what's up my Dragon Legion? How y'all been? So there Dragoons, today I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my current Dauntless DOTE Kagura deck profile. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this such because I want to show you Dragoons how my deck currently looks like since the announcement of Conroe is now finally banned. So now since Conroe's banned, we're no longer able to use Conroe anymore. So we gotta find some stuff to replace some stuff here and there. And not only want to show you Dragoons what my deck looks like without Conroe, but I also want to show you Dragoons some things I've done in particular deck right here. Made some changes every here and there, like the only thing that's really different really is just the alternate art of certain things, and that's about it. However, I do have a plan what I'm going to be doing with the deck very soon, and I'm really happy with most of the things the deck is going to be like for a while. And with that being said, I'm going to go right straight to the deck right now. Shall we, Dragoons? Alright, start off with your starting Vanguard. One Red Pulse Drago Kid, as I mentioned, since Conroe's banned, we gotta find a new starter Vanguard to replace him. Now, Red Pulse Drago Kid, he's a Forerunner. For those who do not know, he's a Forerunner just like Conroe. Also, he has the ability of Counterblast 1, put in the soul of your soul, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, search up to one grade 3 or greater Kagura among them, reveal it to your opponent, put the rest of put it in your hand and shuffle your deck. Now it's pretty much what's his name, Spark Kid Dragoon from Narukami, whatever such right here. Now this is not a bad card for Kaguras right here because one, Kaguras are used to using a lot of the Novelle style cards, so this card actually does help out the Novelle based decks pretty well. Help you get either your Dauntless or your Novelle, and also it does help you with getting some of the ideal grade 3 Kaguras that this deck is ideally relying about. So Red Pulse Drago Kid is actually not a bad substitute for that. Many people disagree, many people will pick someone else, but Red Pulse Drago Kid is actually not bad. So one Red Pulse Drago Kid for your starting Vanguard. And for trigger lineup, we have the 4 heal triggers. Love the new LTR of the 4 heals. Looks really fantastic. So anyways, the 4 heals. No explanation why this is good. And as I mentioned in lots of previous videos, my favorite trigger lineup is usually the 6-6 lineup. And in other words, for those who do not understand, it is the 6 critical and 6 draw lineup right here. Now, I like this lineup right here because it perfectly balances out what I'm trying to do with this deck right here. Like, I want to be aggressive and get as much damage to my opponent as I possibly can. However, at the same time, I want to be able to have some recovery stuff. Have something to rely on whenever I'm taking the damage, and have something to get to my resources when I want to get to my resources when I possibly can at the same time. Combine the two together and make them all perfect as fast as I possibly can, so I can get my stuff resources when faster, while also still getting out the huge power cards I'm trying to get after, so I can do what I normally do with this deck right here. So this is perfectly balanced, helps me balance it with aggression and defense all at the same time equally. So this is why I like 6-6. Most people prefer the 8 crit 4 draw lineup, which is very fine. It's just really all based upon player's preference. Personally, I prefer the 6-6 right here. And for those who do not know why I don't play stands. Stand triggers are never really the best with me when it comes to certain decks right here, except for like a few exceptions. That's about it. So stand triggers are really never that useful to me unless I'm playing a certain deck. When I play a deck that does play stand triggers, I'll let you Dragoons know, and I'll show that deck that does play stand triggers. But for now, this deck right here does not play any stand triggers. As for the rest that's the trigger lineup. For the grade 1s, we have the 4 bars. Bar is still bar. Bar still gets in there. Gives the front row guy the extra 8,000 power, which is a huge amount of support right there. Now, at one point, I was actually considering playing only 3 bars, but since Conroe is now banned, we may end up having to play the 4 bars instead in order to get to him as faster and have as much power to add to the front row guys as fast as we possibly can. So 4 bars is pretty much necessary right now at the moment. And next we have the 4 Dragon Ball Gojos. I do not have that one copy of that one sealed dragon guy yet. The one where you can just call him, pitch a card, draw a card, whatever such. I do not have him yet. If I do have him, I'll take out 2 of these monks and get him. But for right now, the 4 monks are just fine. Monk is pretty good. His ability, just rest him, pitch a card, draw a card, or use him as a booster is always pretty good, useful when certain things come up. Especially when he's your starting Vanguard. Especially when you ride him for your first Vanguard and when you're going first such. He's definitely very good then. Other than that, he's just all in all pretty good. Which is pretty standard. And then we have the 4 perfect guards, because it's your perfect guards. And then your 4 Flame of Hope animals. Animals pretty good right here. Adds the power isn't the greatest that he supports, but when he does support a unit and the unit's attack is a hit, you do get the ability to pitch a card, draw a card, which is always pretty useful to have around when you're doing some stuff right here. So 2 ammos is pretty good. Only 2 because more than 2 can be a little bit cloggy when you're playing this deck right here. So 2 ammos is all that's really necessary here. And that's all I'm really doing for the grade 1 lineup. Nothing really too spectacular. As for the grade 2 lineup, we play only 3 copies of Burning Horn Dragon. Now, I play 3 copies instead of 4, because keep in mind this is a deck that has Dauntless Dragon and Dragon Overlord the end in it. So there is not always a possibility where your Vanguard will always be Overlord, especially when you run those situations where Overlord's not your Vanguard when that happens. So when that happens, you want to be prepared to have some resources to rely on. So you only really need three Burning Horn Dragons. Like, if I was playing straight up Overlords for grade 3s, then I'd be maxing out on Burning Horn Dragon, hands down. But since this is a Dauntless DOTE deck, then we gotta play just three Burning Horn Dragons, just balance ourselves a little bit. And next we play the 3 Bellicossi Dragons. Bellicossi Dragon's pretty good. Every time his attack is hit in Vanguard, one of your cards face down damage goes face up. Helps you recover your resources. Helps you get more stuff going, so you can be able to go out more counterblast effects and all necessary such. So 3 Bellicossi Dragons is pretty good. And then we have 3 Berserk Dragons. Berserk Dragon's pretty good. He's pretty much a blaster blade of the deck. Play him out, counterblast 2 cards, get rid of grade 2 or low guy or below guys that's really annoying you. Take away some of your opponent's resources so you can just get in there a little harder and do what you gotta do. So Berserk Dragon's pretty good, and he's definitely a pretty good ideal grade 2 Vanguard that you want to have when you don't want to use up any of your other better guys for obvious reasons. And to finish off the grade 2 lineup is 2 copies of Dragon Knight Nahum. Nahum is just a basic 10k grade 2 vanilla. I play only 2 of him because just taking places of the Burning Horn Dragons. Since I'm only playing 3 Burning Horn Dragons or such. So this guy's pretty good. A grade 2 10k vanilla always gets in there pretty well, and gives you the extra amount of power that you need to just put down the pressure down your opponent, which is always pretty appreciative. And that is all I'm playing for the grade 2 lineup. Now let's get straight to the grade 3 lineup. Now, I don't have max copies of Dauntless Drive Dragon. Currently, right now, at the moment, I'm only playing 1 Dauntless Drive Dragon. Until I get more Dauntless Drive Dragons, the rest of the lineup is, not counting DOTE, of course. This is supposed to be 4 copies of Dauntless Drive Dragon, but for now, it's 1 Dauntless and 3 regular Dragon Overlord DNs. Now, Dauntless Drive Dragon is very important deck right here. For those who do not know what he does, he has Summon Break 4 for when a Kagero rises unit, choose your Vanguard, and until the end of turn, that unit gets plus 10,000 power and auto Vanguard ability. Choose 3 cards from hand and discard them. At the end of the battle, if this unit attacked, if this unit has not become stand during that turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit. Now, what this means is pretty much break ride, short and sweet right here. Now, what this means is when you ride DOTE on top of Dauntless, DOTE will get the ability where if his attack is not a hit, you can pitch 3 cards, stand back, right back up, and then you can just swing again. And then after that attack, if Overlord's attack is a hit, you just use Overlord's Persona Blast ability to stand right back up again, and you just swing again with 3 attacks with your Vanguard alone. That's just a lot of power, a lot of pressure that just gets down on your opponent very well. Something that your opponent will definitely not see coming, and that will definitely be very overwhelming when this card is played right. And as I said, the 3 Dragon Overlords are just in there for substitutes until I get the other 3 Dauntless Drive Dragons. But until then, regular Dragon Overlord is actually not a bad substitute because the Crush Ride ability is always pretty appreciative. A DOTE that has 1300 power is always pretty appreciative and gives you a little bit more defenses when you want to defend yourself just a little bit. Especially when you do this, especially when you pull up a cross and break ride. Like have Overlord as your Vanguard first, then ride Dauntless on top of him, and then ride DOTE on top of him, so he'll get the 3,000 for the 2,000 from the Overlord and the 10,000 from DOTE perfectly. Make him a 23 beater that can potentially attack up to 3 times, which is very good right here. So this is pretty good right here. So whether or not I get Dauntless or not, and speaking of DOTE, what better way to finish off this deck profile Then, of course, the ideal key winning card in the entire deck is 4 Dragon Overlord the end. Now, for those who do not know, Overlord has the following effect. If this card, pardon me, if you have a non-Kagura Vanguard or Rearguard, this unit gets minus 2 power. If you have a card named Dragon Overlord in Dragon Overlord and Soul, this card gets plus 2 power. And his final ability is pretty much short speak Persona Blast. His Persona Blast ability is Count Blast 2, pitch another copy of Overlord DN, and when this unit's attack is a hit, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit back up right here. Now, for those who do not know, the combo of doing this with Dauntless DOTE is obviously ride DOTE on top of Dauntless, then you swing, rather not his attack is a hit, you then use Dauntless effect, stand right back up, then have DOTE attack the rear guard, most likely the attack will be hit, then use DOTE's Persona Blast ability, stand right back up, and attack the Vanguard again. So that's the ideal strategy of what you're trying to do with Dauntless DOTE right here. It's very powerful, very aggressive, and it just gets in there very hard and very, very intensely. It's just one of those strategies that's very overwhelming, and it's normally somewhat hard to deal with in the hands of the right player, a lot of crazy good such. And all in all, DOTE is just an amazing, powerful card that a lot of people should definitely not underestimate. A very aggressive, very powerful card, and I'm very glad I was able to pick up him when I can right there. So that right there, Dragoons, was my Dauntless DOTE Kagero deck profile. It has gone through quite a bit of changes since the last time I've done deck profile of this deck right here. And for those of you Dragoons who call me red-handed and notice that I do not have any sealed dragons in this deck like I normally do, here's the reason why. The reason why I'm not playing any sealed dragons anymore, right now at the moment at least, is because I'm actually going to try to put together a sealed dragon deck. Now this is something I've always been wanting for quite some time right now, and I found a guy who's got a good portion of stuff that I'm looking for to finally complete the sealed dragon deck. So within 2 weeks or so after this video is uploaded or so, maybe, or even 3 weeks depending on what goes up, I may actually finally have a Dauntless DOTE, a actual sealed dragon deck coming up for you Dragoons. I'll actually have a sealed dragon Kagero deck within a couple of weeks, and when that happens, it's gonna look very fantastic. So I'm very glad I was able to pick up some sealed dragon cards, and and within 3 weeks, I'm gonna be picking up even more sealed dragon cards, which is gonna be ridiculous. Also, speaking of Kagero, I managed to pick up even more cool Kagero stuff along with my Narukami stuff. And one thing I was able to pick up is 2 copies of Dauntless Dominant Dragon. So yes, I am actually going to work on a Dauntless Kagero deck, which is going to be using Dauntless Dominant Dragon, who is actually a really good Kagero Flame Dragon to not underestimate right here. So when I get more cards to pick up from him and all that crazy good such, and also more stuff online and such, I'll definitely have a Steel Dragon Kagero deck and a Dauntless Dominant Kagero deck for Dragoons to check out. And with that being said, let me know what your Dragoons thought about this video in the comment section down below, and I'll see you Dragoons around. Hope you Dragoons enjoy this video. Please leave a like and a favorite if you did, and subscribe today to become part of the Dragon Legion Alliance. And I will see you Dragoons another day. Christian Dragoon signing out. Peace.